The first round of the 2014 season brings us here to Brands Hatch. This is the Aprilia Challenge. The world's leading one-make series is here at Brands Hatch, and I'm here with one of the Aprilia Super Team riders, Georgina Polden. Georgina, it's really looking great for you this year. Your bike's looking in a great condition. Last year you came third in the Women's Buff Championship, so really representing it for the ladies and showing the boys out there on the grid how it's done. Great results yesterday.
It wasn't too bad. First race we had a bit of a problem with the clutch, so I started dead last but managed to catch up to 10th. Second race we had a good race, had a 4th, so happy with that.
And where do you aim for this year in the championship?
Looking for a top 5 finish in the championship, hopefully overall staying in the mix with all the top 3 riders.
Yeah, and who do you think your rivals are this year looking around that top 5 mark?
I think we've got Joe Thompson, Rory Skinner, Jordan Boyle, Tristan and Cameron, I think, and Daniel Drayton.
Well, good luck at catching those, but I'm sure you will. You're looking great on the track and you've got a great team behind you as well. What sponsors would you like to thank?
I'd like to thank Kingston Centre, Butadine Oils, Thundersport, Aprilia and Dunlop.
That's great. Well, we wish you luck, Georgina, in the first few races, so thank you very much.
Yes, thanks very much to Grace and to Georgina. Georgina's qualified 7th on the grid. It's a 3x3 grid format, so that means she'll be heading row 3. On pole position then, Joe Thompson, a rider that was regularly featuring in the top 5 last year, has decided to stick it out for another year, and I think that is a wise move. Second on the grid, Rory Skinner, a young Scottish rider. He turned up at Donington last year in his first ever race with us, and absolutely, well, what a rider he is. You'll see that in a moment or two. Really, really quick. Jordan Boyle, another one of those riders that was a Nitro newcomer last year and was undecided as to whether he was going to go on to a 450 this year or stick around on the 125s. Well, he's decided, I want to win the Super Team Championship, and I can't blame him. Good going as well. A few new names, we'll go through those as we go through the race, but the lights are out here for the first time. 2014 season is go here at Brands Hatch, and it looked like a rocket start from Joe Thompson, number 74, who was so strong at Anglesey last year. Rory Skinner there in 2nd place. Well, you'll just have to keep an eye on him all season. I think he's one of those riders that has to come into this season, despite the fact that he's relatively new to the sport, as one of the favourites, and he goes and tries to move up into 1st place straight away. These Aprilia 125 production motorcycles, well, they're still going very strong. Need I remind you that the Aprilia Super Team Championship and the Super Team Championship on the whole is famous for creating superstars such as Casey Stoner, Cal Crutchlow, Bradley Smith, Chaz Davies, the Lowe's twins, Tommy Hill, etc. And more recently than that, Zach Cordery last year, the champion. This is on board with Georgina Polden, who we spoke to from 7th on the grid. Flying past Cameron Tenzing-Jenkins there, number 73, looks to have a problem from the line. You've really got to time it right to get your start nailed, and that was a good start from Georgina. She managed to go through into 3rd place from the start, but it is Thompson and Skinner that lead the way at the moment. Skinner, number 11, has just gone up ahead of 74 Joe Thompson, though. Lots of orange bibs you'll see in this. They are riders that are complete novices to the sport, and there's a couple of different lines there to show you through Druids from Joe Thompson, number 74, and Skinner, number 11. Joe Thompson perhaps has a bit more racecraft in his super teams, but Skinner, despite being quite new to this, has got race history. He's been racing since he was pretty much born. He's been put on 2 wheels. He is very quick. Jordan Boyle last year did very well in the Nitro Newcomers. He's currently in 3rd place, and he's just ahead of Georgina Polden. They are numbers 37 and 27. The top 4 from last year have all moved on. Zach Corderoy, the champion, into the 450 class. You'll see that later. Brad Peary. Look at the elbows there from Joe Thompson on the start-finish straight. Out the way, son. And so he's getting his elbows out straight away. He's grown quite a bit, but there's no need for bullying. That was a bit of fun on the start-finish line there from Joe Thompson. Yeah, Zach Corduroy, Brad Peary, Ross Simpson and Charlie Nesbitt all moved on. So there's a chance for some new winners here this weekend at Brands Hatch and throughout the season. Some new names out there as well for us. Shane Faber, TJ Toms. What a racing name that is, TJ Toms. Keep an eye out for him all season. Miles Wesley, we saw a bit of him last year. Jack Reed, Chris Gray, Matthew Brown, George Anderson, Edgar Machado and Joshua Crew. Oliver O'Flaherty, another one that's new to the series for this year. Riders aged 12 to 18 can compete on these 125s. And here we are on board with Georgina Polden, currently in 4th place as they go down the start-finish straight. She's just trying to get in the slipstream there of Jordan Boyle out front. She's just about doing enough of a job. She's late on the brakes, nicely done into Paddock Hill Bend, dropping away. You can hear that she hardly shut off the throttle on these little 125 Aprilias that have been doing about a ton down the start-finish straight. And for the first time, she decides to shut off the throttle. I'm not surprised. That's Druids downhill into Graham Hill Bend. Some lovely on-board footage here for the Aprilias in the new 2014 season. It's the 7th season for Thundersport GB. And so it's amazing. Where the heck has the time gone? We see a stationary yellow flag over there at Surtees. So we've lost a rider. I think it's Oliver Flaherty who's not come around on the time screens. The leads still being fought out between number 11 Rory Skinner and number 74 Joe Thompson. Thompson it is that has the advantage. In 3rd place Jordan Boyle, 4th for Georgina Polden. Further back Daniel Drayton, who was so consistent last year, is going to certainly feature throughout the season. Tristan Finocchiaro, number 58, sporting the number 58 in memory of his hero Marco Simoncelli, and these two getting up close and personal into Druids there. Joe Thompson does like that wide line, and then they switch back again, so they're really having a good time out front at the moment. Further back there is number 93 Thomas Burnett on the True Racing Aprilia, rider who comes all the way from Ramsey in the Isle of Man. Number 63 as well, that's George Anderson from Evesham. So all these riders testing their skills out, but it's his first ever race. He's just being lapped there. Further back we see 73 and 7. 73 is Cameron Tenzing Jenkins. Number 7 is TJ Toms, a new rider for this year, as we see another, look at that, Rory Skinner around the outside down into turn 1. And battles all the way down the field. Daniel Drayton 38, 58 Tristan Finocchiaro as we mentioned. But Thompson and Skinner are inseparable at the moment. They're chopping positions at every single corner. Further back there is Daniel Drayton with the blue and yellow wheels, and Cameron Tenzing Jenkins and TJ Toms. TJ Toms, who was born in 2001. Now, doesn't that make you feel old? From Bridgewater. It's his 4th year in racing. He's done quite a bit of mini motos, finishing in the top 3s of championships. So he's used to racing at the front end. Look at these two though. Thompson pulls out of the slipstream, but Skinner just that bit quicker down into Paddock Hill Bend. And for now, he keeps hold of the advantage as they come up the hill towards Druids and ready to put a lap on Matthew Brown, who's new to the championship and Nitro newcomer. Leading the newcomers at the moment is Shane Faber, number 24. He's in 7th place at the moment. I'm used to seeing freight trains of Aprilia super teams, but there are 1 or 2 riders that just look to be, at this first round anyway, a class above the rest, and I think that Rory Skinner and Joe Thompson can easily be put into that category. They've stretched out 6 or 7 seconds now over Jordan Boyle and Georgina Polden. Still a really good result that from Georgina though. We spoke to her at the top of the show, her and Grace, girl power, and it won't be long I'm sure before we see her. There she is, number 27 on the podium and fighting for the wins. The last lap flag is out. Rory Skinner here. He said at the end of last season, as long as he can get some sponsorship, his aim is to come into this championship and win it. That is it, end of story. And so far, he's looking true to his word. They've got some sponsorship, and the RS Racing Aprilia, the young rider from Perth, is looking to get himself a victory. He's just threading his way through a bit of traffic at the moment. That's Chris Gray. He's put a lap on, the light blue wheels, and Joe Thompson follows. I can't see Thompson putting a move on in between now and then. Boyle has gone through in third, Polden in fourth, and then this is the battle for fifth. Drayton has it at the moment from, that's Tristan Finocchiaro, number 58. So it's looking like it's going to be a good start to the season. We see 8 and 88. That's Miles Wassley and Jack Reed. And just in behind all of these guys as they're coming up to the line, he's going to be the race winner. Rory Skinner, just on the right of your picture, number 11. The checkered flag's gone out. And Joe Thompson did his best to try and get hold of him at the end there, but it is Rory Skinner that takes the win, the young Scotsman. And in third place behind Joe Thompson will be Jordan Boyle. So, well, it's a good race there between these two. Rory Skinner very happy with that. I'm sure if there was a bit of friction between Skinner and Thompson there, just at the end, one offering his arm out, the other not accepting. Kids, Rory Skinner wins it from Joe Thompson. Jordan Boyle third, Georgina Polden a solid fourth ahead of Daniel Drayton there. There is Rory Skinner, delighted with his victory ahead of Thompson. And in the Nitro Newcomers, Shane Faber wins it from TJ Toms and Daniel Booth.
And third position in the Super Teens goes to Jordan Boyle. Jordan, that was quite a close race. Georgina was right behind you. Could you feel the pressure off her?
Not really. I was just trying to concentrate on trying to catch up with Joe and Rory, but they were just riding really well, and I got a pretty bad start, so I couldn't go with them. So
A pretty good race, and looking ahead to the next one. Any sponsors you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank Artel, my dad, my mum, Paul, Aprilia, Dunlop and Sunsport, and the Benjamin Gorge Foundation.
Second position in the Super Teens. Joe, what a close race there between you and Rory. What was it like out there for you?
It was such a tough race. I was trying to get past him every corner, but he had so much speed down the straight, it was just so hard to stay with him. But I'll try my hardest in the next race, but it was just so intense, it was mental.
A really good race. Any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I would just like to say a big thanks to my dad, because he's given me an amazing bike. It's so quick, but it doesn't stay with Rory because he's so light, but suspension set up so brilliant. I'd just like to say a big thanks to Teesdale Motorcycles, Thompson's Fish Restaurants, Frey Daytona, Derek at Magtune. Big thanks to Ange and Georgina for supporting me. And can I also say thanks to Aprilia, Dunlop and Thundersport. Thanks very much.
Thank you, well done. First position in that race goes to Rory, only just Rory. That was such a close race. We saw you a bit before last year, and you showed us the way then. You're really quick, you're really showing the rest of the boys how it's done.
Yeah, I had a really good race with Joe. It was just me and him he tried to pass me every corner. Had a bit of, good start, then I tried to pass Joe going up into Druids and got past him in the end, so yeah.
And any sponsors you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank Skinner Motorcycles, Stratheron Tyres, Scott's Bearings, Scott Leathers, Motrack Racing, Thundersport, my mum, dad, Bill and Phil, and Thundersport, and everybody who helps who supports me.
Thank you very much, Rory, well done. Third position in the Nitro Newcomers, Daniel, a great race out there. Your first one, how was it for you?
Yeah, it was difficult keeping up with the rest of the lads, but I managed, and yeah, my bike's running perfectly at the moment, thanks to Motrack Racing. That's it.
That's really great. Any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my dad, my mum, Motrack Racing, Motor Oil, Shorrock's Motorcycles, Longton Batteries, Aprilia, Thundersport and Dunlop.
Thank you, well done. Second position in the Nitro Newcomers, TJ, again a first race for you. How is the Super Team class?
Yeah, it's good. It's a lot different coming up from the 70s because they're a lot lighter, but overall it's really good. I'm really enjoying it.
That's excellent. And any sponsors you'd like to thank for your race?
Yeah, Aprilia, Dunlop, Thundersport, Motrack Racing, U-Save Motorcycle Tyres, Johnson Metals, Skills Direct, Countrywide Windows, K&B Motors, Munchkins Catering, Hillard Commercials, Steve Windsor, SRS Ltd, Mac Tools, and anybody else that's helped me through the season.
And the winner of the Nitro Newcomers, Shane, a brilliant race for you to get the trophy in your hands. We saw you a couple of times last year, a few races at Thundersport. Do you think that gave you an advantage over the other riders?
Not really. I kind of
just kind of getting used to the bike, and yeah, it's been a really good first round.
Definitely. Any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Jordan Favourite Building Contractors, Lynx Cafe, Ash Honda, SRF Electrical Services, Roofing Gear, John Davis, Mum and Dad, Aprilia, Dunlop and Punchbowl.
Thank you very much. Well done.
Great stuff. Well, more Super Teen action coming up later, but after the break, join us again for the Bridgestone GP2 Super Twins. Welcome back to Brands Hatch, a glorious day for racing the first round of 2014. The Bridgestone Super Twins, a new addition to this show. There is a connection, of course, with Bridgestone, who sponsor this series. They are the control tyre of the Aprilia 450s, which is coming up later, and we do have a grid full of 450s here as well as others, so they're going to get their 2 races shown here today. Plenty of action coming up for you. Daniel Freer, the runner-up from last year's championship, number 66, is on pole on the blue and yellow 650 ahead of Bradley Peary, the rider with the pink helmet and pink wheels. My oh my, has Bradley Peary grown some over the winter? He was one of those little whippersnappers with a squeaky voice that you heard last year in the Super Teens, and has grown hugely. But it's a good start straight away from Freer as they go down into turn 1. The green and black bike that got a good start there was Tom Neve, number 68. That was a really good start, in fact, coming through from the second row. In fact, the third or fourth row, Tom Neve there. Huge start for him. But all of these riders that come in, pretty much equal machinery. We've seen throughout the last couple of seasons that the Mini Twin 650s and the 450 Aprilias really do match each other in terms of pace. But Daniel Freer last year was sick and tired of racing them, and at the moment he's got the lead, number 66, ahead of Alex Baker, number 22. Nice to see Alex out there again on the Aprilia 450 this year, rider on the rider from Ormskirk, sorry. He's got BBR Racing written in the programme again. Now, when I spoke to him and his dad last year, they said it was Red Blade Racing. I do wish they'd make their mind up, but when I catch up with them next, we'll clear that one up for you. But Alex Baker, the rider from Ormskirk, number 22, he's now moving up into second, is he? Yes, ahead of number 68 there, Tom Neve. Bradley Peary stands out a mile away, the white, pink and blue machine there. Bradley, who was battling for the Aprilia Super Teen Championship last year. I cannot believe how much he has grown. He's from Kendal, full of, well, probably not just air, actually, he's full of all sorts. He is just an unbelievable character, Bradley Peary, but great to have around the paddock and very quick as well. Sam Wilford is another rider to look out for. He started from row 3, number 35. He'll be on an Aprilia 450. Most of the Aprilia 450s, if they're playing by the rules, will all be the same black, white and red colour scheme, just with the leathers that are slightly different. Johan Mace is new to the series, number 85. He's up in the top 6 or 7. George Stanley, another regular from the 450s, is out there. He'll be sporting number 5, just as he did last year. Lewis Rollo is back with us as well, a former Super Teen champion, number 8. The young Scotsman back to play on a 450, as we just see there. Bradley Peary getting himself involved in a decent battle for 3rd place. Daniel Freer it is that leads though, number 66 here, of course, last year missed out on the championship due to David Allingham claiming it. And further back, we get a quick glimpse there of William Holland, Will Holland, number 93 on the JHS Racing Suzuki Mini Twin, another former Super Teen rider. This grid really is full of riders that are just bursting to get themselves a decent result. Matt Schillings is also out on a 450 this year, number 24. I think Matt is one of those riders that will really improve as the season goes on, as Tom Neve and Bradley Peary get close into Druid. Bradley Peary up the inside then of Tom Neve. Tom, who qualified in 4th place, is doing very well. George Stanley is actually up into the top 8 now. He qualified in 11th, so that's a good effort from him. As we see Tom Neve losing another place there into Surtees. So Bradley Peary's got an advantage. There he is in 3rd, number 97, trying to chase down number 22, Alex Baker. And that's really impressive how Bradley Peary's managed to jump onto a 650 from a 125 and make the transition look so easy. That's Johan Mace there, number 85, mentioned him a moment ago. Another rider from JHS Racing, but hometown from France. So bit of a journey for him. But one of the first Frenchmen that we've seen in, well, I presume he's French with a name like Johan Mace. We will have to find out. I've not had the pleasure of talking to him just yet, but he's up in the top 5 or 6. He's racing in the JHS colours and is just tucked in behind Bradley Peary there. Further back is Lewis Rollo with a plain white helmet. And then you saw just a quick glimpse of Daniel Taylor, another mini twin rider, number 26. Brad Vickers is up there. Sam Smith is out there on a mini twin as well, the 650, number 111. Good to see him back out there again. But a good battle going on. That's a really lovely painted and colour scheme of Sam Wilford there. That is an Aprilia 450, but that's an all-new colour scheme. You can just see him there, number 35, grey, black and green. I like that. Yeah, that's a bit Nicky Hayden style for this season. He will have to go back to his black, red and white for the Aprilia 450 race later, and that's Dan Taylor who's out of this race. He's going to retire. Mechanical failure there, doing the right thing, pulling over as soon as possible. Doesn't look like he can get anything out of that, so he's going to have to push it. Marshall will be attending to him shortly. So there is Baker in currently, well, I thought he was in second place. We'll just have to get a glimpse of that. They may be coming up to lap 1 or 2. Daniel Freer it is that leads. And Daniel, who races in this championship as well as the Sportsman Elite Championship. You'll be able to see that in our other programme on Motors TV, Thundersport Elite from Brands Hatch. So he has a busy schedule over the weekend. There's Brad Peary and Sam Wilford. Sam Wilford has really improved. He's come on strong since the middle part of last year, really. So it's nice to see him fighting up here for these places. And just around the outside of him there goes number 85. A slick move there from Johan Mace on the Suzuki, the JHS Racing Suzuki. So those 650s and 450s really battling it out now. To actually put this straight for you, the 650 of Freer, Peary, Mace and Neve, they are tuned 650s. They do not qualify as mini twins. They are qualifying in the overall GP2 Super Twin standings. So leading mini twin at the moment is Sam Smith as the last lap flag comes out. Doesn't look like anyone's going to be able to hunt down this man here. Daniel Freer really has been on the money. He's lapping just above lap record pace, but lap records have been flying away this weekend. Sam Wilford there, number 35, has got himself ahead of Bradley Peary at a crucial moment here. So Wilford can get himself up into the top 3 on the IDWE Aprilia 450, but Baker, another rider who's improved over the course of last year, and he's come out of the winter fresh as a daisy. He won't catch the eventual winner, Daniel Freer, but both Baker and Wilford are going to be on the podium, and it's a really solid start to the season here. So Brands Hatch, race 1. Freer takes the win, number 66 on the Kawasaki 650. It's going to be Alex Baker who takes second place. And then Sam Wilford in third, Peary fourth, number 97 ahead of Johan Mace. Tom Neve sixth, George Stanley seventh, Reese Hutchinson in 8th place, and Lewis Rollo 9th. Matt Schillings doing well there, finishing up inside the top 10 as well, but confirmation 9-second advantage for Daniel Freer. They're going to have to try and close that gap down, because Freer can easily just drift off and win this championship with a few rounds to go. Early days yet though, and well, that's a slightly older looking Daniel Freer than I was expecting. That must be his dad as he's getting ready for another race. And in the mini twins there, Sam Smith with the win.
And the winner by 9 seconds, a huge lead in that race. Dan, how was it for you out there, just sort of leading the way?
Yeah, it was good. It's always nice to win a race and have a big gap, and the bike was absolutely working spot on. It's flying like, so it was a good race.
Does it help you having a big gap, or would you prefer to be in the mix with other riders to push you on?
It's definitely good to be in the mix and having a good scrap, but my races are back-to-back. I'm out on the 650, then out on the 600, so it's nice for a bit of a cushion and then get a gap and then have a bit of a breather to get myself rested up for the next race, so it was good.
Definitely, well, good ride. Any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Yeah, Barry at Bass Tyres and NL Components, that's it.
Winner of the mini twins, Sam Smith. It's great to see you back up here, Sam. You did well last year. It must be good to get back out on the bike.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I haven't been on a bike since October, so just just been trying to work on my head, keep myself going. Just like to say a huge thanks to my mum and dad. Been working me so hard through the winter. Love them to pieces. Without them, I would not be stood here. JHS Racing have helped me all through the weekend with every single problem I've had. It's been amazing. We've had Ashley from Avon Tyres come down, done a lot of development. The tyres now working amazing. I'd just like to say a huge thanks. Thank you so much.
A brilliant race, well done.
Don't go anywhere, folks. Coming up after the break, some cracking racing from the in-competition Aprilia RRV 450s.
Last year's Super Teen winner, Zach Corduroy, as you can see, a stunning looking bike now on the 450s. So Zach, I've managed to grab you for a quick interview here. Like I say, last year's Super Teen winner. How do you think your year's looking ahead now that you're going to be on a 450? How has the 125s brought you along to this stage?
Well, from 125s, I've learned a lot last year, and I think I'm going to have to learn a lot more this year, so it's going to be really good, yeah.
And who do you think your rivals are going to be coming into the championship this year?
I think most people from last year, like Ross Simpson, Will Keynes, Curtis Drew, a lot of people from last year that I was racing against, they're really good, so yeah, I think they're going to be my main rivals for this year.
You had some great battles with them last year, and now here back at Brands. Do you like it here at Brands Hatch? It's looking like it's going well for you yesterday.
Yeah, the weather's been brilliant. I mean, can't ask for anything better, and yeah, just looking forward to the first race.
Definitely. And you got a good team behind you this year. Who would you like to thank?
Well, a massive thanks to my mum and dad. They've helped me all the way. I wouldn't be if it wasn't for them. And yeah, I think that's about it. Putelin Oil. Thank you.
Yes, thanks very much to Grace and to Zach there. 450 racing, always absolutely brilliant to watch. David Allingham, as you may well be aware, has moved on, the champion from last year. And on pole position, it's Will Hodgson. He won't go away. He stays on the 450s for another season. And look at that pole position for him. Alex Baker, you just saw him a moment ago. We know he's quick. A good result for him, getting second on the grid. Louis Dawson really came on strong at the end of last year in the 450s. No surprise to see him on the front row. Second row, Dean Cork, Ben Luxton, Lewis Rollo, George Stanley, Sam Wilford and Reese Hutchinson, Zach Corduroy, who we just spoke to in the interview. We just saw him on your screen there. Number 2 will start from row 5 in 13th place, and away from the line we go. Will Hodgson looking to get the whole shot. There he is, number 14, and he does so. He's absolutely flying. It's quite a funny situation. He's caught up with Sid, Thundersport Sid, earlier on before the start of this weekend and said, right, well, I'm going to try and get as many wins in as possible before these youngsters get the hang of these 450s, and that's probably a good tactic. Zach Corduroy, there he is, number 2, mentioned earlier on, last year's Super Team champion. They're getting used to the transition from 125 to 450. It's not something that's just going to click overnight. You're going to see those guys fighting all the way through the year, but what a first round it's been so far for Will Hodgson, who has the early advantage ahead of Louis Dawson, number 34, and coming past the start-finish line now. Obviously, as you can see, all of the bikes look identical. That's because they are. They are all matched for pace. Control tyre, all on Bridgestones, perfect weather conditions here, and it's Will Hodgson that has the advantage from number 34, Louis Dawson with that green helmet, and then Alex Baker, and then look at this lot. Absolutely stacks of riders. 101 in the middle there was Curtis Drew. These 3 just already trying to edge away from the rest of the pack. I would say that you need to keep an eye out for Sam Wilford. We saw him earlier on a green and black Aprilia. He will be back out on his normal coloured scheme one. 35, Sam Wilford. Ben Luxton last year at the end of the season was winning races and was very unlucky really not to finish second overall. Ross Twyman has moved on to other things as well. He won't be racing in this championship anymore, so there is an opportunity for 1 or 2 of the others. Lewis Rollo is back out with us, and there's a change here at the front as they dip down into Paddock Hill Bend, and it's a really good move from Louis Dawson, number 34, as he goes up ahead of Will Hodgson, and now Alex Baker's having a look as well. And Will's going to have to be careful, and he's lost out. He's gone from 1st to 3rd in the space of 2 corners. They go down into Graham Hill Bend, and Will is going to have to fight back here. These guys are all very, very close off circuit. They're all good mates. They get along well. but will not like that one bit. He's been done over now and has moved down to 3rd place. And that might just give the chance to the guys in 3rd and 4th to catch up, and Will Hodgson taking the outside line. There are really a couple of lines you can take out of there. They're all flat out as they come onto the start-finish straight. Alex Baker and Louis Dawson side by side, and here comes Will Hodgson from 3rd again, when it's all changed. Anyone's guess who's going to get out in front as they come on the exit there. It is Louis Dawson, and in the background, number 35, Sam Wilford is catching, and Will Hodgson from 3rd to 1st. He almost lost the front end and wiped the pair of them out, but he comes out sunny side up and he leads, and now Alex Baker goes up into 2nd place. Great racing this from the 450s. Will Hodgson giving as good as he gets, and Sam Wilford has turned this into an 8-wheeler. He's up into 4th now. In fact, the whole lot are joining in. They've looked out front and thought, that looks like fun. Let's go and try and fight for this win. Hodgson it is just from number 22, Alex Baker, and Louis Dawson. You can throw a blanket over those three, though. They're so close. Sam Wilford in 4th. Then it's Ben Luxton in the background in 9th. They're going to be 3 abreast into turn 1. Well, I'm going to stop guessing, actually. It is still Will Hodgson just from Louis Dawson. But look at this. Dawson trying to go up the inside. And it's no longer an 8-wheeler. It's not a 4-bike battle anymore. Look at this lot as they come down into Graham Hill Bend. Ben Luxton and Lewis Rollo have joined in the fun. There is Sam Wilford on the IDWE Aprilia. Will Hodgson, do not look over your shoulder. Whatever you do not want to see what's going on. He's got some clear circuit ahead of him at the moment. He's, well, you know what? He's got about a 10th lead, and in this class, that's breathing space as they come out of Clearways, around Clark Curve and onto the start-finish straight. This is what we want to see from the 450s. It's Hodgson. Well, it's Hodgson from Dawson and Baker and Wilford and Luxton and Rollo. And all the time these guys are tripping each other up, we always just seem to appear to have 1 or 2 others joining in. Further back, that's Sam Llewellyn. He's out there on a Honda 125 in the GP3 class. So just getting himself down into turn 1. But this is the fight for the lead. Hodgson from Dawson and Ben Luxton up the inside of Baker, and there's not a lot of room there. I'm not sure if he's made that stick. He hasn't. He's going to have to try again into Surtees. Will Hodgson's trying to make a break for it. Perhaps he's been informed of what's going on and he wants to get out of here and check out. Brilliant racing from the Aprilia 450s. They're just coming up now to put a lap on Llewellyn on the 125 GP bike. There he is, but keep your eye on these 450s. Hodgson it is with the advantage. They're lapping in the low 51s and the late 50s. That's about half a second off the lap record, but I don't really care about lap records at the moment. This is good, solid racing. Sam Wilford is up into 2nd place now, and look at the lines they're taking at Baker. How has he managed to get that stick? And I thought he was touching Louis Dawson there. Well, they might be friends off circuit, but they don't look like it at the moment, do they? Will Hodgson with the advantage, but Sam Wilford is flying. He's up into 2nd place, and he's closing down onto Will Hodgson. Well, I think the breakfast format has changed for Wilford over the winter. He's moved on to the Weetabix. He is flying up into 2nd place, but you have to be impressed with Will Hodgson. He is the most experienced on a 450, but he's going really well here. Further back, yeah, well, we haven't had a chance to talk about these guys. Will Keynes, who's moved up onto the 450 from the Super Teen Championship. A quick check on Zach Corduroy, last year's Super Teen champion. He's in 12th behind Matthew Shillings and Curtis Drew. Dean Court, who started in 4th place, as there looked to be a change for 2nd, has just dropped down a bit after a poor start. He could be back a bit later on, but Curtis Drew, the biggest improver in terms of grid places. He's moved from 14th to up into 9th place at the moment. Sam Wilford was 8th on the grid, the 3rd row, and he's currently in 3rd place. Hodgson it is with the leads. Baker has improved now. He has moved up into 2nd place, and Wilford in 3rd. Number 9 in 4th is Ben Luxton, who won so many races towards the end of last season and was able to put up a real fight to David Allingham. There is Llewellyn, number 23 on that Honda 125. If he wasn't acquainted with Aprilia 450s, he certainly is today. And there's going to be a change now for first place as Baker goes up the inside into Paddock Hill Bend. Neatly done that by Alex Baker, but I don't think the story is going to end there. Will Hodgson straight back up the inside again into Druids. And there's a couple more joining in the fun as Wilford in third and Louis Dawson there in fourth. And is that Ben Luxton or Lewis Rollo? I think it's Ben Luxton that's moving up into fourth place now. Whoa, well, I'm going to have to take a breath in a minute, but it's hard not to keep your eyes glued to the action here. Will Hodgson has been the long-time race leader. He's led the majority of the time. He's doing a good job here. You know, over the years in the 450s, he's not picked up that many wins, but this would do the confidence some good. There is last year's Super Team champion, Zach Corduroy, number 2, currently in 12th place. Last lap flag is out. That is a shame to see, a last lap flag. And, well, these guys could probably do another 20 as well. You can't make a mistake now. Will Hodgson takes a defensive line, weaves all over the place. He has it at the moment from Baker and Wilford. I don't think Wilford has been this far up in the championship before, as we look further back to 93 and 7. 93 is Matty Rangeli, and then it is Will Keynes. But this is the fight for the win. The final turn, Will Hodgson, I think he's got just about enough here to do this. Alex Baker's going to try, and look at this, coming around the outside. Like a rocket ship is Ben Luxton. Anything could happen here. It's going to be Will Hodgson that wins the first one on TV this season. What a fantastic race in the 450s. He wins from Alex Baker. Ben Luxton is third, and Sam Wilford fourth. You've got to be unlucky not to be a part of that podium. Sam Wilford, fourth place after a fantastic race, and Will Hodgson, what a win for Will. Louis Dawson finished in 5th and Stanley in 6th. It was Hutchinson, Rollo, Court and Drew. You've got to be unfortunate. Look at that, a second pretty much covering the top 6. And under a 10th in it between Hodgson and Alex Baker across the line. Great racing here from the 450s. And there is a very happy Will Hodgson, centre of your picture. Let's catch up with these guys.
Third position goes to Ben Luxton. Only just Ben, you're battling there with Sam. He's doing great this weekend as well. The 450s are looking really competitive on the first round.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a really close race. There's loads of us bunched up. We had a bit of trouble yesterday with the bike, but we've got it sorted now. It's great.
Great. Any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Yeah, Stephen Kahn at Systematic Instruments, John Davis for making a great bike, and everyone else helped me out.
Second position goes to Alex Baker. Alex, another close race for you there with Will. You've been battling all weekend. How is it out there?
Oh, it's tough. No, it's great racing though. It definitely keeps it interesting, but in one lap you can go from 5th to 1st and then back to 5th again, so just got to, every time you get past, pass him back and try and keep it up near the front.
Well, I'm sure you'll be challenging him again. Any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Just like to thank BBR Roofing, Pipeworks, Rock Oil, Red Blade Rollers, my dad, IN Competition, Bridgestone and Dunsport GB.
First position goes to Will Hodgson. Finally, you're really pushing for a win last year, Will, so it must be great to finally get a win on the first round this year.
Yeah, I feel like I'm cheating a bit really. I've been riding the bikes for 4 years, so I've got a bit of legs on the new lads. I think I'll as it make hay while the sun shines, so see how it goes.
And what's the competition like out there? Alex is really giving you a run for your money.
Yeah, Alex has upped his game definitely this year. He was good towards the end of last year, so we've got a lot to keep going and keep pushing forward, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, good luck for the next one. Any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Ron Hodgson Specialist Cars, Ian Newton, Myra and Gibbo, Jimmy, Nitro Helmets, Acer Compressors and Equipment, Silcoline Thundersport.
Halfway through the show then, join us again after the break for race 2, the Dunlop Aprilia Super Tees. Welcome back to the Aprilia Challenge. Brands Hatch, glorious sunshine, blue skies, race 2 for the Dunlop Aprilia Super Teens. This championship that is famous for creating so many superstars in the world of motorcycle racing. Last year, Zach Corduroy, we just saw him going off in the 450s. Who will be crowned champion this year? Well, we're getting a glimpse as to who might be challenging. Number 74 pole man Joe Thompson will look to try and reverse what happened in race 1, because this young man from Perth, Rory Skinner, number 11, took the glory. Jordan Boyle, number 37, was just a little bit off the boil in race 1. Can he close the gap down to these two guys at the front? The Aprilia Super Team Championship, such great history. One of the most successful one-make series in the world, if not the most successful. You even think back to when Thundersport GB started with their Super Teens. Fraser Rogers was the winner back in 2008, and this year he's competing in his first ever World Supersport Championship. So you win this, you go on to good things. And away from the line we go for race 2 here at Brands. It looks like a decent start from Joe Thompson again, but Rory Skinner is there just hassling him up the inside, but it's going to be Thompson that takes the lead into turn 1. Georgina Polden finished 4th in race 1. She's got another good start there and moves up into 4th place behind Jordan Boyle, much like the first race start for her. As further back we just see Jack Reed, a newcomer for this year, going into Druids for the first time. 58 there, just behind Polden, and 73, 5th and 6th for Tristan Finocchiaro and Cameron Tenzing-Jenkins, two riders that were newcomers last year. This is their second season. It's time to show what they've got. And I think you'll find them on the podium quite a few times over the course of this season. But Joe Thompson, so far, of the riders that were racing last year, is showing strongest. He has the advantage ahead of young Rory Skinner from Perth, who has got a catalogue of championships to his name in various other series below this, but really is a talent, number 11. Came to Donington last year and took a win away from Charlie Nesbitt, who was another young sensation, both of them just 12. And Skinner already looking to try and get up ahead of Joe Thompson. There was just under a tenth between them in that last race, and Thompson couldn't quite get there. Can he do it here? Jordan Boyle at the moment in 3rd place there, number 37. This time is not being dropped. He's got his eyes focused on the rear seat unit there of Rory Skinner, and he's managed to break away from Georgina Polden in 4th place. And just behind Georgina is Tristan Finocchiaro. We had a rider go missing on the first lap. I saw from the time screens, I can confirm that that is newcomer TJ Toms. So hopefully he's up and he's okay, whatever happened. And they come around to complete another lap, and this is a good lap here from Joe Thompson. And coming under pressure now in 2nd there, that is number 11 Rory Skinner, but is Jordan Boyle looking to go up ahead of him? No. Boyle with the yellow wheels on his Aprilia, just in 3rd place at the moment. The rider from Verwood. Thompson, Skinner and Boyle, the top 3 in the Aprilia 125s, and there's a rider down over there. My, how on earth has he got over up on there? That's Daniel Drayton. Now that is a big crash. Has he just put himself up there, or has he landed there? He looks hurt. I do hope that he's okay. Uncharacteristic to see him actually off, because he finished pretty much every race last year. Very consistent, but poor Daniel Drayton has gone off, and he looked in a bit of pain as the riders head around there. It was a bit of a wide line from Skinner as he just goes over some cement dust. That's from an earlier incident throughout the weekend, but these are your top 3, Thompson, Skinner and Jordan Boyle. And just seeing to Daniel Drayton's crash, that's over at Paddock Hill. We're on board with Georgina Polden now, and up the inside there, you just got a quick glimpse of a knee slider, the white wheels, and I think they're some sort of Italian colour scheme there from Tristan Finocchiaro, number 58. So he's getting himself up there, trying to challenge Georgina for 4th place. Some good on-board footage. These are your top 3, though. Still Thompson with the advantage, putting in some consistent lap times. 55.4 at the moment. They're about half a second off a lap record that has stood now for, I think, 4 years in the Aprilia Super Teams. Jake Dixon, no less, has the lap record in the Aprilia Super Teams around here, 54.8. They're just a few tenths off that at the moment. Further back there is 46, Daniel Booth from Preston in his first ever race weekend here at Brands Hatch. The top 3 closes up though. They've broken away from the rest of the pack. Polden still just about hanging on to 4th place ahead of Tristan Finocchiaro. There is 39, Joshua Crew, about to be lapped by the leaders, but there's been a change. Skinner it is that has the advantage. It's strange, you know, Skinner looks a lot quicker than Joe into turn 1, but Thompson looks quicker than Skinner into Druids, so they are faster than each other in different parts of the circuit. But what counts is that you're fastest across the line. We're on board with Polden now. She is just behind Finocchiaro, but she's got some great drive out of Graham Hill Bend there, and she's going to go for the long route around the outside up into Surtees. And has she made it stick? I think she might have done. Good move that from Georgina. young lady who started racing just last year. She came from motocross, and she was absolutely hooked to the sport. She didn't attend every round, but the round she did attend, she shone through well, and Georgina Polden surely will feature on the overall podium at some point this year. The top three here, well, if there's any hiccups from these three, then she'll find herself on the podium, but at the moment it's Skinner that leads. Thompson with that wide line and drifting line around this first corner. Further back, that is the battle for fourth place onwards. Georgina Polden ahead of, at the moment, Finocchiaro, Cameron Tenzing Jenkins, Shane Faber and Daniel Booth. Shane Faber and Daniel Booth battling it out for Nitro Newcomer victory. But it is Skinner that has the advantage from Thompson. Jordan Boyle doing very well this race to hang on to their tails. He's lapping the same times as them. There is Cameron Tenzing Jenkins. He did say we were allowed to call him CTJ this season, so we might just do that when we're feeling a bit lazy, but we're fresh because it's round one at the moment, and it's looking pretty good for Cameron Tenzing Jenkins there as he tries to close up. But this is the battle for the lead. Skinner it is that leads from Joe Thompson, and then Boyle with the yellow wheels in third place. Don't forget there, Georgina Polden, number 27, in fourth place. She currently leads. She finished third last year in the Buff Women's Championship. She leads it at the moment here at Brands Hatch. So there's plenty of females that compete at Thundersport GP. Georgina at the moment has the advantage over the rest of them. And believe me, it's a championship that they want to win. It got quite feisty last year with one or two of females that really wanted to win that championship. It was Charlie Oakland that took the glory in the end last year. We're on board again now with Georgina Polden, who's looking to take the Buff Women's Championship. She's got clear second ahead of her, but so she's safe and comfortable in fourth. No, she's not, because look who pops up underneath her. It is half English, half Italian, Tristan Finocchiaro, number 58. Good battling going on here, though, for the top three as they get themselves in amongst some traffic, and then this the battle for fourth, fifth and sixth. Polden followed by Finocchiaro and Cameron Tenzing Jenkins. It's Roy Skinner at the moment that looks like he's going to take another win, but anything can happen. Joe Thompson is the young man with the quickest lap time of 55.358. Jordan Boyle still hanging on in there in third place. Further back, Faber and Booth still fighting for Nitro Newcomer win. They are in 7th and 8th place. Thomas Burnett, Miles Wasley, Cameron Fraser, David Ince, your top 12. Looked like Joshua Crew was in amongst them as well. Joshua Crew, in fact, I'm just going to have to double check. Didn't see him go past last time, and there he is. That is Joshua Crew, who's gone down and looks hurt, and there's red flags as a result of that. Red flags have come out, so this race is going to come to an end, and that will be declared, I'm almost certain of that. And that will mean that Rory Skinner is gifted the victory, so it's another win for Skinner. Thompson frustrated as he finishes second, but it's a good weekend all in all. These two are going to fight it out for the championship for sure. Boyle there in third, ahead of Polden, Finocchiaro and Tenzing Jenkins. There's your overall podium. The winner, Rory Skinner, ahead of Thompson and Jordan Boyle. And in the newcomers, it's Faber, Booth and Miles Wasley. So to the points. And Rory Skinner has a 10-point advantage going into Donington Park the next round. That's nothing ahead of Joe Thompson, Jordan Boyle, Polden, Faber and Tristan Finocchiaro. And in the Nitro Newcomers, Faber it is, with a nice handy lead there going into Donington and his first ever weekend ahead of Booth, Toms, Wasley, Reed and Massinger.
Third position, Jordan Boyle, another trophy in your hands. A really good weekend for you overall.
Yeah, it's been a really good weekend. We've been on the podium in every race, so I'm really happy.
Definitely. Any sponsors you'd like to thank for your weekend?
I'd like to thank Artel, my dad, Paul, my mum, my brother, Aprilia, Dunlop, Thundersport and the Benjamin Gorge Foundation.
Thank you, Jordan. Well done. Second position in Super Teens, Joe Thompson. Again, another trophy for you. Close between you and Rory. Do you think you'll be able to get him at the next round?
Well, we've been on the podium all weekend and I got a win yesterday, but unfortunately we couldn't follow it up today. It were a really close race with Rory, but unfortunately it got red flagged. due to obviously an incident. But I were planning to make a move on him, but it was just too late really. Can I just say a big thanks to Teesdale Motorcycles for doing a really good job with us. My dad, because he's done given me a mint bike and just putting up with me and everything. Thompson's Fish Restaurants, heat holders, Daytona boots, Shoeberth helmets, and Georgina. And can I just say a big thanks to Marlo and Joe Sheldon-Shaw.
And Rory Skinner stormed in again in first place. Rory, a brilliant weekend for you. You must be looking forward to Donington Park.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Donington. It was great racing here with Joe, really close all weekend. Yeah, and really enjoyed it.
Great results. Any sponsors you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank Skinner Motorcycles, Strathern Tyres, Scott's Bearings, Scott Leathers, Motrack Racing, Ian Newton, all at Thundersport, my mum, dad, Bill and Phil, and everybody else who supports me.
And third position in the Nitro Newcomers, Miles, a brilliant result for you, a trophy in your hands. You must really enjoy it here at Brands Hatch.
So yeah, it topped the weekend off. Had problems with the bike all weekend, and yeah, I was really proud of myself.
Definitely, you should be. Any sponsors you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank Aprilia, Dunlop, Thundersport, Mum and Dad, and Aqua Construction.
Thank you, Miles. Well done. Second position in the Newcomers, Daniel, again, another trophy for you. A brilliant weekend here at Brands Hatch.
Yeah, I'm really happy with the weekend. I've got a podium each race, so yeah, it's been a good weekend.
Great results. Any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Motrack Racing, Motor Oil, Shorrock's Motorcycles, Longton Batteries, and Aprilia Thundersport and Dunlop.
And another first position in the Newcomers, Shane. 2 trophies in your hands today. A brilliant result. You must really enjoy it here at Brands Hatch.
Yeah, it's been a really good race all weekend. I got four wins, so I'm really happy, really happy.
Definitely. Any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Jordan and Faber Building Contractors, Links Cafe, Ash Honda, SRF Electrical Services, Roofing Gear, All Insurance Services, Onwards Upwards, Scaffolding, Mum and Dad, John Davis, Aprilia, Dunlop and Thundersport.
Thank you, Shane. Well done.
Cheers. Thanks.
Well, the Aprilias will be back at Donington. Coming up after the break, though, the Bridgestone GP2 Super Twins. Welcome to Brands Hatch, the Indy circuit here in Kent. A glorious day, probably the best opening day for racing we've seen in any season gone by. And we're on to the Bridgestone GP2 Super Twins and Mini Twins on pole position. The runner-up from last year, Daniel Freer, current championship leader. Then it's Brad Peary, number 97, and Alex Baker, number 22. Baker, who finished second in race 1. To just get a quick glimpse there of Reese Hutchinson on the second row. He's joined by Tom Neve and Johan Mace. Third row, Sam Wilford, who finished third in race 1. Lewis Rollo and Matt Shillings. Fourth row, Brad Vickers, George Stanley and Dan Taylor. Mini Twins to look out for, Sam Smith as ever, number 111, Dan Taylor himself, 26, Tim Neve, etc. Away from the line we go though, and it's another good start from Tom Neve. We've got a Tom Neve and we've got a Tim Neve, just to make things very complicated for a commentator, but it is Daniel Freer that has the advantage going into race 1, into Druid, sorry. He won race 1 by an absolute country mile. Can he do the same here? Neve in second place, and a good start again for Baker as we just get a glimpse there of 59, Matthew Truelove from Lincoln on the Kawasaki, just tipping into Graham Hill Bend. He's around about mid-pack at the moment as they come up towards Surtees. So Freer it is from Neve, Baker, then that's Johan Mace and Bradley Peary, number 97, the young rider from Kendal who fought Zach Corduroy for the Aprilia Super Team Championship last year. Mad as a cartload of donkeys is Bradley Peary, and you will get the pleasure of listening to his voice at some point this year, because he will get interviews because he is quick. Tom Neve is there, number 68, who was under the guidance of Phil Crow just last season, going up ahead of number 22 Alex Baker for now, and then Johan Mace on the JHS Racing Suzuki 650, just behind number 22 on the red bike there. Sam Wilford is getting to grips with things again, but these guys cannot stick with Daniel Freer, whose opening lap has given him a 2-second gap back to the rest. So these guys are going to have to find a bit of pace between now and Donington if they want to catch up with Freer. he'll be only too happy just to lead from the front and clear off in this championship. 23 and 75 on the 450s. Adrian Pendrill on the AP Racing Aprilia, and number 75 James Popel from Bristol. So those two guys battling it out further back, just outside the top 20. It is Sam Smith at the moment, number 111 on the JHS Racing Suzuki 650 Mini Twin, the rider from Staining that has the advantage in the Mini Twins ahead of Tim Neve and Dan Taylor. But overall, out front, Daniel Freer on the blue and yellow Kawasaki 650 leads. Look at the lead he's got already there, and there's a change for second place as Johan Mace goes up into second. So Mace is now up into second place, number 85, ahead of Tom Neve, and then there's just a gaggle of riders. Baker on their Aprilia 450 and Bradley Peary, number 97, on the Brad Peary Racing Kawasaki in blue, pink and white. The sponsorship though for Daniel Freer, the, I suppose, championship favourite, you have to say, the NL Components Kawasaki for him. Tom Neve trying up the inside. There is it's that wonderful colour scheme of Sam Wilford, and it sticks for him. Then it's Reece Hutchinson, number 48, and George Stanley, number 5. So a group of 450s there, all trying to get themselves as close to the front as possible. There is Johan Mace, front end just chattering a bit as he pushes it through Surtees in second place. He's just managed to get a gap on Alex Baker in third place there, and Brad Peary in fourth. Brad Peary in fourth place there, just a tiny little rider. I can't believe he's on a 650. He was tiny last year. There's Aaron Clifford, the young Irish rider that was in the Super Teens last year, going well. Just outside the top 20 at the moment, number 19. Keep an eye on him as the season progresses. A lot of these riders have made the transition from a 125cc Aprilia onto much larger bikes, so for others it's easier, for some it just takes a couple of rounds. Number 5 there, George Stanley, thought about a move up the inside of Sam Wilford, and further back there Reece Hutchinson about to get overtaken by Lewis Rollo. Lewis Rollo was pint-sized when he won the Aprilia Super Team Championship a couple of years ago. He doesn't look like that anymore. He entered a couple of 450 rounds last year, looked competitive, then had a massive couple of crashes, one at Donington where he knocked himself out, and then he had another one at Anglesey. He attended a couple of BSB 125 championship rounds as well, and there's a change for second place. Brad Peary has now got up into second. He's used to racing for the top 3, and he's done so again. He's going to have a job on to try and catch Daniel Freer, but it's good lap time that from Brad Peary of 50.8. That's 1.1 seconds quicker than a 650 we've seen before, but the Super Twin lap record remains. That was James Folkard back in the day, quite a way back. A 52.1 for Sam Smith is the quickest Mini Twin time. That's just a bit off Tim Jones' lap record as you look again at Daniel Freer, number 66. Second place then is 97, Brad Peary. They're just coming up there to put a lap on Giles Day, number 78, and 54, Jack Thompson. Last lap flag is out then for Daniel Freer. And this has been a little too comfortable, I think, for Freer. No Allingham to play with this season. Just saw Matt Schillings going through there, number 24. And 111 Sam Smith, who leads the Mini Twins at the moment from Dan Taylor and Tim Neve on this final lap. Dan Freer is actually so far ahead at the moment, he could probably exit Druids and see his rivals coming into Druids. So he's just got to cruise home, and he will lead this GP2 Bridgestone Super Twins Championship going into Donington Park. Maybe we'll see a different story when we get to that round. There's Sam Wilford. Sam has got himself up ahead of Alex Baker here in the closing stages, but it's not going to be a podium for him because it looks like it's going to be Kawasaki and Suzuki. So the 650s this time getting the better of the 450s. That's not always the case. The checkered flag will come out, and Daniel Freer does take the win and will lead the championship going into Donington Park. It's a really solid second place in his first weekend on the 650 for Bradley Peary. Johan Mace, good effort from him for the JHS Racing squad in third, Wilford fourth, Baker fifth, and Lewis Rollo in sixth place. Once again, Freer preparing himself for another race, but Peary's present on the podium. In the mini-twins, it is Sam Smith, Dan Taylor and Tim Neve that you're seeing. Now then, to the points, going into Donington, Dan Freer, as you can see, a good advantage there, 34-point lead over Bradley Peary and Alex Baker. That could all change, though, in just a couple of races when we get to Donington. And in the mini-twin, Sam Smith it is that leads, but by just 6 points ahead of Tim Neve. Dan Taylor's third ahead of Lee Wainwright, Matthew Truelove and Harry Truelove.
And mini-twin winner Sam Smith, another podium for you here, Sam. A brilliant weekend at Brands Hatch.
Yeah, it's my home track, I love it. Such a beautiful place to come, so close to home. Feels special, my dad loves it here, I love it here. It's just a nice atmosphere. We had the people from Kabuto come down to watch, they're from Holland. I'd like to say a huge thanks. It was amazing to meet Misha and Nick. I've loved every minute of it here. It's a shame to go home, but roll on Donington. It's going to be just as good. Had a win there last time out. See what we can do. It's going to be amazing.
Excellent. Any sponsors to thank?
I'd like to thank Held Lovers for helping me in the crash I had on Friday. Kabuto helmets, JHS Racing, and my mum and dad, and Avon tyres. Thank you very much. Thank you to all.
And Super Twin winner Dan Freer. Dan, a great race for you there. Brad Peary wasn't that far behind you. I think it was catching in that one. Could you feel the pressure off him?
Yeah, I had a pit board and I could see the gap, and it kept coming down a little bit, and he had to have my work cut out a bit, but it was a good race. It went well, went all to plan like, and I was chuffed to bits to get the win.
A brilliant result. Any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Yeah, Barry, Bass Tyres, Northlands Components and Paul Burrell.
Thank you, well done.
Don't go anywhere, folks. Last but certainly not least, after the break, the second race for the in-competition Aprilia 450s. Welcome back to Brands Hatch for the final part of the Aprilia Challenge. And if this race is anything like the first race we saw, we're in for some action here. Will Hodgson on pole position, having won race one, ahead of Alex Baker, who's second on the grid, and Louis Dawson, who finished fifth in race one, but is on the front row. Second row, Dean Court, Ben Luxton, Lewis Rollo. Third row, George Stanley, Sam Wilford, Reece Hutchinson. But in truth, any one of these guys in the top 10 could end up on the top step. And Will Hodgson, well, he said, make hay whilst the sun is shining, and that's exactly what he's doing. Into turn one, he wants to build up as big a lead as possible. He knows all about how quick these guys come on as the season goes on. But that said, Will Hodgson hasn't had a start to the season like this, so he's got to be happy. He's riding very, very well, is Will, and he looks full of confidence, and that's exciting news for everyone. He's not afraid of an overtaking manoeuvre, Will, but today he's on it. He's on the money, and he leads from number 34 there, Louis Dawson. The back, that's, oh dear, that was 77, Ryan McAdam running into all sorts of trouble. He's up and he's walking away. That bike is in danger zone though, and the marshals running straight out into the traffic. Nice to see him get up and moving away, but that was happening a lot earlier in the corner than it looked. There's a change for the lead already. Dawson it is that has the lead now ahead of Will Hodgson, who does not like that at all and says, no you don't, I'm back up into the lead. He's moved into first place. So it is Hodgson, Dawson, Baker, and then Luxton, who's had a better start this time. He said he was happier with the feeling of his bike, having not had a great day here yesterday at Brands. He is definitely a championship contender. In truth, any one of these guys could win it. I'm not going to predict it. It's impossible to do so. Will Hodgson looks in good form here, and I think he's almost taking the tactics of David Anningham from last year. Just stay in first or second place. Try not to get yourself swallowed up in these gaggles for fourth and fifth, because you could end up way down in 10th. But he's being challenged yet again. A good move there from Louis Dawson up the inside, and will no doubt try and go up the inside into Druids. He lets off the brakes. Ooh, a bit of a wobble from the back end there. Oh, and Louis Dawson almost hits him up the backside, and that allows Alex Baker to move up into second place. That's unfortunate for Louis Dawson. So having gone up into the lead into turn one, he's fallen back to third and is in trouble already, and that just shows you that one moment there can cost you a race win and put you into danger. And might not even make you finish on the podium. It is Will Hodgson that has the advantage, having shoved Louis Dawson out of the way. Baker in second. Louis Dawson has regrouped and he's back up into third place, and he's going to try and move up into second. He is quick into Paddock Hill Bend. He is really quick. Up to second he goes, ahead of Alex Baker. In fourth is Lewis Rollo, and then Ben Luxton. Lewis Rollo there. Unfortunately, Lewis Rollo and Ben Luxton, bikes 8 and 9, gone for the white crash hat. So they look exactly the same. Further back there, 57 and 67, Oliver Fitzpatrick and Gideon Thomas. Gideon, a former 125 rider, but he's on the 450 for the most part of last year. Back to the front though, it is Hodgson, Dawson and Baker! Oh, majorly out of the saddle there. How has he held on to that one? And well, he stays in touch. His heart might be in his mouth, but he's moving up now. Look at that, it just shows you these youngsters are fearless. Dawson moves up into the lead again ahead of Will Hodgson. Baker moves back up to third ahead of Ben Luxton, having nearly been chucked off the bike. Lewis Rollo is in fifth. Then it's Rhys Hutchinson. Sam Wilford has got a bit of work to do here. He's just drifted back a bit, so not quite as strong as we saw from him earlier on. There is number 32. 32. And there is Zach Corduroy looking at 32. On board now with Zach, looking at Sam Edwards from the on the AP Broom Racing Aprilia, exiting Graham Hill Bend and coming up towards Surtees. But this is your race for the lead. They're just getting mixed up with Sam Llewellyn there, who's getting lapped, but it is number 14, Will Hodgson from Louis Dawson still, and now Ben Luxton up to third place and looking strong. Then a small gap back to Alex Baker as they tip down into Paddock Hill yet again. These 6 riders have just broken away from the rest of the pack. Sam Wilford struggling to keep with them this time in 7th place. So, well, there is number 5, George Stanley, number 7, Will Keynes. Will Keynes is having a good weekend so far. Then Zach Corduroy, number 2, on board of them now. The yellow leathers down into Graham Hill Bend. Lovely sweeping left corner this, but if you get it wrong, you can end up on the grass on the exit so easily. So it's Louis Dawson now that has the lead. The train of 6 bikes comes around into clearways. Will Hodgson drifts wide, tries to get on the power, and it's time for Slipstream City onto the start-finish straight. Ben Luxton there in third place is a danger. As we look back to Zach Cordery once more, number 2, up ahead of 32, Sam Edwards. Onto the start-finish straight. Hodgson leads once more, so he must have got some excellent drive out of clearways and Clark Curve. So these 2 guys really do want it, and this time Louis Dawson is going up the inside of Will Hodgson. No, he's not. Hodgson closes the door. In third place is Ben Luxton. This could just go all the way down to the finish line. There is 93. That's Matt Rangeli. There is Llewellyn, just getting lapped and getting himself well out of the way. But Hodgson it is with the advantage. He wants to leave here with a championship lead as they go into Donington Park. If he keeps it in first place, it's more than likely that he will do so. There is Rhys Hutchinson. What an improvement from Rhys. Number 48 from Middlesbrough on the Hutchinson Transport Aprilia. Now onto the start-finish straight. They're side by side, and Dawson is going to try and go up the inside. The last lap flag is out. Dawson up the inside of Baker, though. He has to hold on to second place. Sorry, it's Luxton in third. And Lewis Rollo is now making a charge for it. Lewis Rollo is definitely capable of this. Don't count him out. Luxton up to second. They're all looking to try and get themselves into second to mount a challenge on Hodgson. But all the while, Hodgson has got the upper hand. Further back, this is the battle for 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th and 14th, the final points. But Luxton it is, seems to be the only man now that can try and get the win. Will Hodgson it is with the advantage. He's going to have to get this absolutely perfect out of the final turn. Luxton goes wide. This is going to be a straight race to the line. It's going to be Will Hodgson again that takes the win just from Ben Luxton. And that was really, really close. 0.05 of a second between Ben Luxton and Will Hodgson, but Hodgson takes another win ahead of Luxton. Louis Dawson, half a second off in third place. Lewis Rollo improving up into fourth place there. Baker in fifth. Rhys Hutchinson in sixth. There they are, all smiles on the podium. Hodgson the winner from Luxton and Louis Dawson. The points then, well, take no notice of that for now. Hodgson will be happy, he's got 95 points, but that will change over the course of the season. Maybe Hodgson, maybe this is his year.
Third position goes to Louis Dawson. Louis, a great race, first time on the podium today. You must be really chuffed with that.
Yeah, mega happy really, because started off this weekend a bit bad. I never usually go well at this track, so yeah, I'm really happy to finish it off with a third.
And a good battle going on between you and Ben as well.
Yeah, like everyone, there's always people nipping at your heels, so it was good to end up third really. It's good.
No, brilliant result. Any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Just Motor Direct, Arrow Helmets, Silk Clean, AJB Photography, and obviously my mum and dad couldn't do it without them.
Second position, Ben Luxton. Ben, a great race for you there, especially with seeing you more on the podium last year, so a great way to start off the year.
Yeah, definitely. It's really good. I had a great race with everyone. Everyone's really fast. Had a great race.
And you could see Will in your sights. How close was it out there?
Yeah, it was really close. Like I said, everyone was battling. Everyone's so close this weekend. It's really good racing.
Brilliant. Any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Stephen Carnett Systematic Instruments, JDF for making great bike, Shark Helmets, Motor Direct, and everyone else for helping me.
Thank you, well done. First position, Will Hodgson. Will, 2 wins today under your belt. A great way to start the championship.
Yeah, it was a surprise to get a win this weekend. I didn't come here expecting to win, so just try and see if we can carry it on till Donington.
Close racing behind you. Could you feel the pressure from the lads behind you showing them the way?
Yeah, as soon as they come past, my plan was just to attack them back and try and pass them at any opportunity. So a bit of some hurry moves, but managed to go to plan and everyone stayed on the bike. Great bunch of lads, so I really enjoy racing with the lads.
Really well done. Any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Ron Hodgson Specialist Cars, Ian Newton, Myra and Gibbo, Jimmy, Nitro Helmets, Colroyd, Acer Compressors and Equipment, Silcoline, Bridgestone, Funsport GB, and all the marshals and medics and officials. Everyone, thanks for a great weekend.
Well, the sun comes down on Brands Hatch, and we're off to Donington next. From myself, Steve Day, and from Grace Webb. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.